execute him, it's pretty funny stuff. And yeah, so the point of the chapter on the Paris Commune is to talk about communism, right? It's like to say that communism is inherently violent, is like, beyond that, it's like demonic, right? It's the worst thing ever. I can, maybe pull out some quotes from here, because I think the language he uses is pretty evocative. He says, he's talking about what happened, the Paris Commune, and the wartime conditions. And then he said, in this condition of things, the city fell an easy prey to a horde of bad men, the worst of its vile elements, and human beings so devoid of all conscience, pity, or consideration that it is hard to look upon them as possessing the least of human attributes. But this is the class the world over who are at the bottom of all troubles of a communistic nature. They were the real cause of the great strikes of '77. And their prompt and utter extermination in this and all other countries is the only method of removing a constant menace and peril to government and society. At that point where we're thinking to do dual. So pretty strong language. Communists need to be exterminated.
Point now.
They're,
how do I?
They're not even human. He says they don't have what recommends them to be as a human being.
What do you want to do? Tell me.
Yeah.
I thought you were telling me I have to do some kind of Elsa from here.
When I was reading it.
No, I just made you the host so I could leave. So now I can re-enter this other meeting and you log in.
This is done. I just need to go back downstairs and re-log in.
Yeah,
no, you're not listening to right wing.
Log in as AbilityMKE Now.
And down there, I'm doing the same login.
The idea that that's exactly.
You're doing Ability Fest.
Exactly right.
Oh yeah. Ability Fest.
I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, he talks about how it's
you're doing Ability Fest. You can do the show as always.
Reign of Terror.
I'm curious if you know anything about this story that was Vayset, where Vayset, I'm not sure how you say the name. Was that the spy, and Raoul Rigaud, who apparently carried out these, mass executions? Do you know anything about this history? And if so, just how poorly is this told? Like, is there any truth to this story of the spy, massacre, arranging for these troops to, massacre their own, their own forces?
I have no idea, and I think we don't have the time to go into it. Like, perhaps we could circle back to this in a future episode. I'm sure we could do something about the Paris Commune, and we could compare and contrast what really happened, or not what really happened, but what else happened, and this.
We can even look at the Raoul Rigaud.
Even if we take everything he says here for a fact, it's like he's recounting some executions, maybe some of them unjustified, a couple of dozen people or something, right? He's just talking about, oh, this person got executed, it was terrible. This person got executed, it was awful. What he leaves out, he glosses over the fact that the commune is defeated by the government, and the government massacres, I mean, in my understanding, tens of thousands of people in the streets of Paris. So he's talking about violence and what horrible violence these communists are perpetrating. Meanwhile, he gives, the examples he gives are like a couple of dozen people, basically. And even if all of that's true, and revolutions are violent, and things do happen often that aren't good. So we can say that sure, there probably were executions that happened that weren't justified, but what followed was a full-scale wholesale slaughter of tens of thousands of working class men, women, and children, basically, people who were innocent victims.
Yep. We got about 5 minutes left. Where do you want us to go here?
So let's see. There's a lot of other things to talk about. One thing I just wanted to point out that was a theme throughout this is both in talking about the tramps and in talking a little bit in this thing about this recounting of the Paris Commune. He talks about this particular, the way he talks about women is interesting. Like, he talks a lot about the appearance of different women, and in the tramps chapters, he talks about the tramps having sex. I don't know what the standards of literary polite society were in 1878, but I think that some of this, it would have been considered it's not that baudy or anything. He doesn't go into detail, but it's sort of
just women who like to have a good time, basically, is what he said from what I remember.
Well, yeah, and he talks about the tramps having sex with each other and like whatever. And in the Paris Commune chapter, he talks about this woman escaping from a prison and how like, you know, he like specifically says, and her dress caught on a nail and she showed more ankles than she meant to. So it's like, there's kind of like this goofy, like sort of titillating details that he throws in there. And I think that's kind of, that again speaks to like, this is entertainment on a certain level. Like it's meant to scare the reader. It's meant to sort of entice the reader and titillate them. And I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was kind of interesting. But let's see. So I just want to say there were some more quotes that I wanted to. Oh yeah. So like, just to go back to the language about these communists, it says, when the last hope was gone, these human devils who fought the government troops with a desperation and valor almost unparalleled in history made a requisition of all the petroleum in the city and made a fierce attempt to completely destroy Paris, as if their own ruin would contain a touch of awful grandeur if it could also comprise the entire destruction of one of the first cities of the world. And then he says they were responsible for $200 million worth of damage. So I don't know. It's just funny because, as I said, he leaves out, you know, the tens of thousands of people getting butchered.
Yep.
But he talks about the 2 million, you know, the millions of dollars worth of damage, and he calls them human devils. Right? It's like, just like you couldn't really possibly think of more of a stronger way to condemn these people. And yeah, he's calling for their extermination. Unfortunately, yeah, we don't have a lot of time left, but the next chapter gets into like sort of a rough sketch of the history of the First International and communism, you know, sort of as such, in a formalized way. He calls it a cowardly doctrine. He says they were responsible directly or indirectly for every major act. Let's see. He says, I want to quote him out of turn here. Yeah, and like he basically says all of the worst stuff of 77 happened because of communism. On every railroad that was held by lawless men, in every city where violence reigned, and through every excited assemblage where law had been trampled underfoot, this accursed thing came to surface. If its members did not directly inaugurate the strikes were the direct result of the communistic spirit spread through the ranks of railroad employees by communistic leaders and their teachings. Blah, 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 blah. And he again talks about the millions of dollars worth of damage, and of course the lives sacrificed. And he calls the communists a class of human hyenas worthy of all notice and attention.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I had not heard that one before.
Human hyenas. There's a lot. So and then one last quote. He says, the communistic law boldly assumes that the vagabond is as good as the honest laborer, and that the laziest loafer of the slums has the same claim upon the more fortunate of mankind for bread and drink, clothing, comfort, and protection that the industrious economical citizen has. So basically, like, communism is, you know, this is all about divide and conquer. Like, he's trying to divide the working people, you know, the honest working people from the communists and the tramps who are like lazy and also evil. So 30 seconds. We're almost out of time here.
Yeah, we're just about out of time. I'm curious to hear what he has to say about the detectives, right? So the book, for those of you who just tuned in, we're just about done with this episode of History is Revolting. We've been talking about the book Strikers, Communists, Tramps, and Detectives by Alan Pinkerton. And we've talked today about a little bit about the strikers, the communists, and the tramps, but I'm curious to hear what he has to say about the detectives and how he's going to portray them. We'll talk a little bit more next week about this topic. If listeners, you want to know more about what we do, History is Revolting, you can check out historyisrevolting.com. You can also check out, that's our blog page. You can also check out riverwestradio.com, and you can find our show page there, and you can listen to all of our previous episodes. We're at History Revolt on Twitter. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/History is Revolting. Can get you there, and I would encourage people to check us out and to tune in on River West Radio and everywhere, you know, around the world on riverwestradio.com. Yeah, we are about out of time. Last words to you. We've got about 15 seconds here, Joe, Take it away.
Oh yeah, I just want to thank our beat. Our intro music is by courtesy of Mogul Bands, producer Mogul Bands. So you can check him out on Instagram. It's like Mogul_bands. All right. Great. If you need some music.
This is River West Radio, broadcasting on WXRWLP 104.1 FM Milwaukee.
Programming on River West Radio made possible with support from Bach Chamber Choir Milwaukee, sharing their passion for the art of distinctive choral singing since 1969. Their program, American Dreams, featuring American music from colonial days to the present, will be performed Sunday, October 23rd at 3 p.m. at Brookfield Lutheran Church, located at 18500 West Burleigh in Brookfield. More information at BachChoirMilwaukee.com and on their Facebook page, Bach Chamber Choir Milwaukee.
Now let's listen to AbilityMKE Now as they bring people with and without disabilities together to enjoy life here in Milwaukee on River West Radio, WXRWLP 104.1 FM, Milwaukee.
Welcome to AbilityMKE Now, live on River West Radio. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we are here doing, as usual, our Wednesday evening show on AbilityMKE Now. We are a show all about integration. We bring people with disabilities and people that don't have disabilities together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. Now, we all have different abilities. So here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities, showcasing and sharing a variety of aspects of ability-related topics. So the concept of disability does hit a pretty wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, a goal of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have some personal relationship with the disability community as a whole, whether us ourselves have something that we consider to be a disability, or loved ones, friends, family, you name it. We're all in this together, and knowing what resources and what's out there and available, and activities, and you name it. There's so many things to share and to celebrate regarding diverse abilities here in the Milwaukee area. So as always, we have our co-host extraordinaire, Kurt Roskoff, my hubby, here with us. And I do want to just briefly pass the baton over to him so that he can give a big hello to everybody. So Kurt, I'm going to send it over your way.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sue. And yeah, I too am excited to have Patty back as guest today, but as usual, we want to set the platform for what the 20-some minutes are all about here on AbilityMKE Now. Again, disability advocacy, being inclusive, accessible, and accommodating to all of our Southeast Wisconsin and Milwaukee residents with disabilities, and all of our visitors, considering those travelers, and appreciating everything that the Milwaukee Public Schools and all area schools do in special education and accommodating students with disabilities, learning disabilities, and the like, ADHD, whatever it may be. We are talking about across the entire age range, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, the deaf community, blind community, people with physical disabilities, those with chronic pain, anyone with a mental health diagnosis, and everyone with a goal of substance use reduction. When you really unpack this and open it up, it's stuff that intersects with a lot of social work, social mission, social ministry, and we can talk ability ministry, inclusive recruiting, accommodation in education, including people with disabilities in an assertive way, really welcoming them into politics and our government work. When we have our state committees or our county advisory boards and things like that going on, things in the city. I mean, let's look at Wauwatosa. Wauwatosa has a Citizens with Disabilities advisory group, for the aldermen in the city of Wauwatosa. So lots can be done. Lot is being done. We've gone a long ways, and the general saying is we have a long ways to go, and we want to make sure that people are having fun as well. Take it back, Sue. Back to you.
Excellent. Thanks so much. I know, Kurt, with your background, you do bring a rich variety of pieces to the table here with all of this. You've had a background with a lot of different organizations across Southeast Wisconsin and beyond. So it's always interesting. I keep learning new tidbits along the way with all the pieces and things that he's had the opportunity to do as it touches the disability community. One thing that last week's show brought to mind for me is everybody has a story. Did you remember that line from Pretty Woman? It opens and closes with a gentleman walking down the road saying, "What's your story?" Everyone's got a story. What's your story? So I know we've introduced Patty previously, and she has a very interesting and unique story. And I'm wondering, Patty, would you like to say hello and just what would you like to share with us this evening with what's all happening with you?
Hi, everybody. And I'm going to revert to Kurt to introduce what's going on with my story.
Okay, Kurt, over to you.
All right, so again, what's built up is last week I was talking about over 60 organizations, 60 lines on a Google sheet for retracing the tangled web that was woven around Patty that she never asked for, and it's grown to over 80 of these lines and notes with 70 plus contacts, organizations, just ways that Patty can outreach for being thrust into the mental health system, totally against, what serves her, and in this overdone aspect of looking forward to protect a person or two, and thinking that maybe there's some sort of public interest in this to, force Patty to have some pharmaceutical medications. We had within the last week a very insightful thought to say, we say that we don't like the idea these synthetic drugs are being pumped through her blood system in her body on court order. Like, she has to do it or she's violating court order. And, so the thing that was added on that with the conversation with a friend was, let's start just saying right out, part of what we're concerned about is all of those, well, first of all, contraindications, and then in terms of side effects. So to look at, how are we, and she's been through this for 2 months, and, Patty reports that she's never been given much of a review of the side effects. I mean, we can all think of it. We can all go in and dig it up ourselves, but, not really a great consideration at all. And we were just talking to agencies again today, and it was amazing. People who seem to be in a position of management and oversight, just really saying, like, it ain't my job. So let's look at the irony in this. The irony is that you have professionals out there who, let's say it out to be fair, I mean, the right thing to say is 99% of the time, the right things are being done. So this isn't to say like we have evidence that we're, in some major percentage of an issue, but, whatever the minor percentage is, it means that individuals like Patty are being lost through the cracks, and people are just going through the motions, creating commotion, and it's not, real considerate. And it's something where, unfortunately, in these, as far as we can know right now, we're hoping that Patty is a rare case, but Patty is confident that as rare as her case is, it still amounts to large numbers of people out there being disserved in this way. So Patty is having to work tirelessly, for months now. We're talking months worth of setting aside your life for something you didn't ask for. It becomes an identity that Patty feels she's living somebody else's life. So the life of Patty was kind of sort of lost back in June, and she's living this life of who these authoritarians these people in authority, management, administration, all these people are like, woohoo, look at me, I know it all. You know, the know-it-alls are like sitting here just telling Patty like everything's okey doke and like go ahead and file a grievance, go ahead and get an administrative review, you know, go ahead and practice your rights. But it's kind of like Patty is there to fend for herself, and it's kind of like that thing of going up against City Hall type of thing, you know. But Patty's doing it because Patty knows beyond a shadow of a doubt, and you know, we're in agreement to this, that Patty comes to our shows of sound mind and body, and that we have professionals out there basically shifting things to a convenient truth. And I propose that it's because of how things fall into their pocketbook, that God almighty dollar falls into their wallet. And so they're happy as professionals. They're getting paid. They're getting paid to do this. And then Patty has to sit there and take it and go through and fighting every step of the way and really getting granular, really looking at fractal things, really piecing it apart, really super analyzing it, because these people are not just coming up and doing what I would hope that they would do on their own. Patty's having to say in about a dozen different ways the same thing to try to get them to nudge to do something in a more proper and ethical direction. So what we're hoping for here is that, you know, with the long arm of the law, with the legal system, the judicial system, putting this in front of another judge, you know, and other people to review these complaints about how the last couple months went, that everything will be adjusted, and that Patty will find herself on her show someday soon, where she can say, you know what, I made it out of the mental health system. You know what, that court order is expunged. Don't have the court order anymore. It looks like I'm out of the court system, out of the medical system, and got life back. But she's not there today yet, folks. So the story is still a rich one. Back to you, Sue.
So Patty, I just wanted to toss this back your way. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Well, we got some pretty good news today. We heard from the public defender. So that's, and the doctor also seems to be pretty well on my side. So that's somewhat good news, but it's tiring. The whole thing is very tiring.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, like I said, everybody has a story, and some end up being more unique and more, it's almost to the point of unbelievable that you have to go through all the things that have been happening. And I'm glad you've got the willpower and the stamina here to go through and figure out these pieces of it and to see what you can do with it to bring things to the right place in the end. So we wish you all the best with all that, and hope things. Yeah, you're very welcome. We just hope things continue in the right direction so that you can get the resolution that you deserve.
Appreciate that.
So here at the AbilityMKE Now, one thing that I want to highlight is another event that is coming up that's actually an online event. So this is one that can be found wherever you're located. I know there's at least several of us here in Southeast Wisconsin that will be hopping on the bandwagon with it. But the Global Happiness Summit, I know another big topic is happiness, being happy and having optimism and all these kind of catchwords that you hear a lot. Global Happiness Summit. It's actually going to be the 12th annual Global Happiness Summit coming up on October 7th, 2022. It's all going to be taking place online, and it's something that everybody is welcome to. It is going to be, from what I understand and the nuggets I've heard and seen so far, it is going to be a very worthwhile time, and I personally am so looking forward to it. Between speakers, entertainers, chances to connect with other like-minded folks, is going to be very dynamic. And again, with the topic, how can you go wrong, right? Global Happiness Summit. This is actually something that is stemming through and being facilitated by those at the Happy Neighborhood Project. So the gentleman that began that organization, he's got a unique history and unique story. And actually, Kurt, if you don't mind, I think you can give a better representation than I can to give that nugget of what exactly, who is Edwin, what's he all about, and Why is Global Happiness Summit such a big deal?
Well, Edwin is a very capable professional and manager, and someone who's in the capacity of consulting and public speaking, and really coming from enterprise, work in home businesses and other businesses. And really what happened was during the recession of 2009, he really saw what the market needed. The market needed, with recession, something to instill consumer confidence and to be supportive to just people at large, to say that recession has a lot of inconsequential impact and a lot of consequences to people at home and in workspaces and stuff like that. So really what he did is he put together the I Am Happy project, which was a culmination of him interviewing 1,000 people about happiness. And then that gave him the premise to go out there and serve even more masses of people, and getting out to just many, many countries out there and attracting tens of thousands of people to the work of the I Am Happy project. And the United Nations recognized him for the work in spreading happiness around the world. And then he's come back in the last decade and more, even more than a decade ago. He got serious about bringing this to the professional realm and in workplaces, workspaces, and professionals. And so the Happy Neighborhood Project was born as Happy Neighborhood Project because that's the potential with the business community, is that if people out there on Madison Avenue or Main Street and out there where businesses are experiencing this infusion of happiness, that's another way people can get it at home. So you've got this parallel process happening of personal development through the I Am Happy project, professional development through the Happy Neighborhood project, and then we have the Happy Co-op. So now he's done enough of train the trainer, where he's got a lot of us in leadership getting right into this work together. And we've really shaped the happiest place on earth for business people. And so, our big events, our worldwide events even, take a moment for laughter yoga, where we just open up everybody's microphones and we go for 30 seconds and we just laugh. And we just laugh and laugh because of what laughter does to us theologically, medically, the great benefit. The largest healthcare crisis known to humankind is social isolation. So there are things that we can do in skills and practices and behaviors that can compensate for these other challenges. So we need to address the challenges, see what we can do to dilapidate that and kind of remove that. But it's still such a pervasive thing. It's bigger than the COVID pandemic, is really where you can really get a sense of it. And so we're a long ways away from making a dent in that. But while that is out there as a pervasive issue, we can go out there and do big things to spread happiness. The Global Happiness Summit, 6 hours worth of activities, including speed networking through the Hopin platform, hopin.com, and workshops, speakers coming in to share from their expertise and predictable success, entertainment, and programs by the Happy Neighborhood Project. We got a dozen vendors already so far, so there's going to be more vendors coming in for an exhibit hall space. It's really a fascinating event where it's just amazing to say, wow, I've come on October 7th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for 6 hours this activity. I can come on to the happiest place on earth for business people, and then 1,000 people at that. And what an exceptional opportunity. And we've had an appetite for a year now to break the Guinness Book World Record. We tried it a couple times, did not, get to that level yet, but with 1,000, it's a stepping stone where if we reach our goal with this summit on the 7th, over in March, I'm predicting that we might be going after that record again. Back to you, Sue.
That is amazing. I'm when you think about the Guinness World Record pieces, we have several friends actually that have their own little certificate at home that is, and I say little, it's not little, it's a big deal to actually be a Guinness World Record holder. We have several friends that are record holders for different aspects of water skiing, actually. And for this event to be something that there's enough people involved in this and enough energy going on, that there are so many people on the Global Happiness Summit, that there would be a world record setting event taking place with that. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to see where this all goes. So the information actually is all available online. So it's easy to find, easy to look up. It's very simply hnpabc.com/GHS. So HNP for Happy Neighborhood Project, hnpabc.com//GHS for Global Happiness Summit. So thanks so much for that recap on what that all is. And there is actually one more event that's taking place locally here in I believe it's Brown Deer. It's actually in Milwaukee. I'm gonna have to rely on Kurt one more time. He's got the details of an event coming up this Saturday on there's gonna be a potluck from 4 until 6 p.m. at the Social Justice Center. Do I have that correct, Kurt? Where Mutual Aid Network is going to be coming together, and I'm going to throw it back over to you, Kurt, to give us an intro of, and actually a reminder, what is Mutual Aid Network? What is this potluck event all about, and what can people expect if they want to know more about that? What is this?
The Mutual Aid Network has 8 different forms of currency, including time banking, price-based mutual credit, which is more of what people are used to in the marketplace, where you put a price on things and you pay the dollars. But there's a sharing economy involved. There's robust budgeting, project facilitation assistance, community investment assistance, and just multiple opportunities there in 8 different directions. And so we're coming together to kind of have a little facilitation on that, and to share what people are doing, like with the attendees, what they're doing. And so mutualaidnetwork.org has a Google Calendar on there. It has drop-down menu, going deeper. It has on their web meeting instructions, and so we're going to have it available online. So it's a little bit of good networking, and to just really show how we can work cooperatively. There is a cooperative format with the Mutual Aid Network, and so that's going to be in Milwaukee at the Build Center. So the Social Justice Center does a lot of work with the Mutual Aid out in Madison, but with the Saturday event in Milwaukee, it's the Build Center, which has gotten a lot of media attention with what the couple has done, taking over that church to that, not worrying about it being a church, but that's what it was with that facility, and now repurposing it to a lot of their social work.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Kurt. I want to mention one more big event coming up this Sunday. I know we've talked about this before. This is one that is close and dear to my heart with ACAP in Waukesha. They are celebrating their 40th anniversary, and they have a big gala event taking place to celebrate 40 years of success and personal stories, and you name it, with the Adaptive Community Approach Program out of Waukesha. So they are a partner with us with the Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club, where we've been partnering up with the adaptive water skiing for 30 plus years. So I think it's about 35 years actually. So it's been a long standing relationship, and I couldn't be more excited for them and all the things they have to celebrate. They are a day program for adults with disabilities, and just fantastic staff, fantastic board of directors, amazing individuals that are participants there, and I am so excited that they'll have the chance to do such a great celebration for all the good things from all these years of what they've brought to our community. So just want to make a quick mention of that because I really am so proud of them. And I know that one fun thing that we tend to do here on the I believe it's the third, actually I'm sitting here looking at the calendar as I'm reminding myself, third Wednesday of the month is a unique one for us personally here with AbilityMKE Now. We do like to do something kind of fun, something totally goofy, but just all for fun. Ice cream social night. So with that, I do want to go around and find out what's your favorite flavor. I'm actually, Patty, I'm going to ask you first. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? If you could have any in front of you right now.
Yeah, thanks. I don't usually eat ice cream. I eat like Tafuti ice cream. So, but chocolate probably.
Awesome. And Kurt, what's your favorite flavor?
Well, I've really gotten into Oreo cookies and cream, but I also can't say enough for mint chocolate chip. And let's make sure to get Corinne on here. We want to see what her favorite ice cream is.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Corinne. How are you?
I am beautiful. How are you? Are you hearing me well?
Yes, very well. Perfect.
Do I need to show myself on camera?
It's completely up to you.
Oh.
Because it is on radio here, so not everybody can see you, right? We'd see you in the Zoom room here where we're taking place, but it's totally up to you.
Oh, wonderful. Great, great. My favorite ice cream, well, I don't eat ice cream anymore, but rum and raisin. I am in the Caribbean, so rum has to be in there.
Oh, after my own heart there. That's awesome. Actually, do you want to do just a quick 60-second intro? Who are you and how do we know you and what brings you to our show? We're so glad you're here.
Oh my goodness, on the spot. My name is Corinne Lafont and I am based in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Just in case anybody listening don't know where that is, you need to Google it and take a plane and come over. It's an island. We only have rain and sun, and it's a lot of rain happening here now, right as we speak. Okay, so you don't have to worry about snow or anything. We don't have that here. We don't have that here. Palm trees, coconut, good food, just living the life. Yeah, that's what it is about. And what else do you want to know about me? I am connected to you guys. I love you, Sue. And of course, Sue knows I love her husband, Kurt. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah, if I remember right, you're the other woman, right?
I am the other woman, and we need to say that publicly. I am the other woman. I am not going to hold back on that. I am the other woman. That's right. From the Caribbean. There's a little distance, just a little, but
just
I am the other one. Just a little. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we so love that you're here.
What was that, Patty?
Kurt has.
Well, I didn't get that. What was that, Patty?
I said, Sue doesn't know about all the girlfriends that Kurt has.
No, well, I don't know about the rest, but she knows about me and I know about her, and that's all that matters to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a very fun introduction at one of the speed networking events, and we both were like, oh, wait. Oh, nice. Oh, it's been a pleasure to get to know you, and I am hoping perhaps you could join us again next week here, that we can devote a chunk of time to you on the show. So
of course, Kurt knows how to find me.
Perfect. So wonderful. Yeah, Happy Neighborhood Project has brought so many fun friends together. A lot of the folks that we've had on here has been through that. And we truly have met so many fantastic, wonderful people.
Listen to me, HNP is it. It's it. Did he tell you about our conversation yesterday? Oh my word. He didn't. Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. What happens between me and Kurt stays between me and Kurt. Very good. Yes.
Awesome. Well, and I'm just going to back up and mention real quick my favorite flavor of ice cream. I'm torn. Yes. I go between cookie dough and peanut butter cup or Oreo. So those depends on the mood of the day. But if I had some right now, it would totally be Oreo. That's cookies and cream. That's kind of my thing.
Oh my. Rum, Sue. I need to convert you. Rum.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be too hard to twist my arm that direction. So we just have about 45 seconds left here. Kurt, I'm going to have you come back on. Do you have a last sharing thought for everybody?
Yeah, it is ever so exciting to be continuing the show, AbilityMKE Now, and even the last 5 minutes, I think might be a little something different for the entirety of the River West radio culture. So we are pushing the edge here, pushing the envelope, and really stretching what people could expect from riverwestradio.com and 104.1 FM right out of Milwaukee. But you know, with the Happy Neighborhood Project, it's definitely exciting, and looking forward to trails of a more accessible Milwaukee area. Sue, give us your 5 seconds.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here for AbilityMKE Now. Have a good night.
Listening to River West Radio couldn't be easier. Just say, hey Google, Siri, Alexa,